Started.
All right.
So, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome you all to the episode 3 of Instagram Inspiration Series, wherein I bring my dear friends, colleagues, mentors, and other people who keep inspiring me in the day-to-day life, and hope to share with you some of the positivity that they give me and learn something from them. So I want to start today with a quote by a person called Bo Sanzis, and he says, "Success is achieving your dreams. Significance is helping others achieve their dreams." I am so honored and privileged to have a significant leader with me today, Tarun Bhargava, who has been a mentor, guide, and coach to so many of us in Toastmasters and beyond. My first memory of him being when he was the division director in 2016 in Toastmaster, and I was part of TCS Noida Club, and I was blown away with the level of detailing he did for a small event. And since then, it has been a great journey. So, welcome, Tarun sir. Welcome in this Instagram Inspiration Series, episode 3.
Thank you, Haritosh. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where people are. And this is certainly, great opportunity, first of its kind for me. So I really feel privileged to be here, Haritosh. Thank you for making me feel special by calling me here. I don't know how much I can, pass positivity to your network, but at least I feel so blessed and positive with this warm gesture from your side.
Thank you so much, sir. So, what we are gonna do is we have few people joining in between. So, if you guys have any questions, we'll probably be able to take 2 or maximum 3 questions towards the end of the session. And before that, I'll be asking a few questions to Tarun sir, and he'll enlighten us with his knowledge about all those things. So, let's start with your time industry and otherwise. So, how has your journey been, and what were some of the critical factors that helped you in achieving the success that you have achieved?
Uh, I think I missed out a portion of your statement, maybe because of the network. Could you just
Sure.
repeat? The,
Yeah, sure. So, tell us about your journey in, like, you can take it as a table topic. Tell us about your journey in 1 to 2 minutes about your 20 plus years of IT experience, and then you have been associated with Toastmasters, another organization. How has that journey been? And what were some of the factors that helped you in achieving the success that you have achieved?
Oh, great question. And I think that would be a good segue for people to know me. I've got, like, as Haritosh mentioned, I've got about 23 years of experience in the IT sector, IT industry. Presently, I work as a senior manager in one of the IT product companies, wherein we develop software products and services for insurance companies. So, basically, life, for me has been, I use the phrase luck by chance. I'm not surprised because, gradually as you grow, you understand that, uh, there's a huge difference between the education sector, the academic world, and the industry. And for a lot of us, basically, it's like a surprise, as we grow into our
Yeah.
careers. So all I remember from my school days was that I wanted to do something in computers and maths, something related to that. So rest of the decisions were not that difficult. I did my graduation in maths, and in parallel, I was learning computer programming. So I started my career as a software engineer. Um, so far, so good, but gradually I moved into project management and program management and people leadership, and I've also done roles of the product management. So there have
Mm-hmm.
been a lot of roles, and each of those milestones, each of those roles actually taught me a lot of lessons. Because obviously, unlike the academic world, it is like more hands-on. You have to learn the thing and then
True.
perform as you work in your, uh, corporate world. And although I was feeling that I'm very good, but I think in 2012, I I realized that life is getting little like a frog in the well, where we sort of feel that we know it all, but since we are so much busy, occupied in our own schedule, and
Right.
not really moving out, so that sort of hampers a certain level of growth beyond a point. So
Mm-hmm.
since then, I realized one thing, and this I tell to a lot of people I help in the leadership journey in Toastmasters, and that is, when it comes to my growth in future. So it all depends. The biggest variable is, um or rather, biggest fact is we learn from our own people. Okay, so the most
Mm.
important question for our growth, individual growth, is how many your people do you have? I think that's the
Wow.
fundamental question I tell people. Because for the rest of the people, although they may be knowledgeable and experienced, but there is this natural filter that we apply, in
Mm.
terms of the knowledge. But with our own people, there are no barriers, no filters. So the learning actually happens. So I've been trying to, be on that path. I've been trying to add a lot of my people.
Mm-hmm.
And that has helped me significantly in terms of moving forward with respect to my challenges and growth and aspirations. So that
Wow.
is one big change that happened, and I also discovered my passion, because I felt there was a huge gap between the academic world and the industry. So I did feel that I want to contribute to the education reforms in whatever little ways I can. So that's something.
Great.
Another thing I advise all the people. I say, discover your passion or the purpose of
Passion.
life, and
Mm-hmm.
it helps. It helps in
Right.
growing.
I think
Yeah.
one very profound thing you said, finding out my people, and I tell to all my young colleagues, and when they join corporate, to find the network. I mean, you may switch jobs, you may go from one place to another, one position to another, but it is the networking, the connection, the real connection, that people that helps you in grow, and you never know when you require help from someone. So you have to at times selflessly help people, and that's when you will grow. So great points on that. So
Thank you.
next interesting question that I have: how did you come across Toastmasters? And it's been, I believe, 6, 7, 8 years in Toastmasters.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very interesting thing, and the most important thing was, um, I felt before joining Toastmasters, I felt I'm very good in communication and leadership, um, and I mean, it wouldn't have been easy for me to come to Toastmasters to learn communication and leadership if it was not my dear friend Neeraj Gupta. So
Mm-hmm.
he was in Toastmaster, and I've known him since like way back. We were colleagues in the same
Right.
company, so we worked since 2001. So I've known him since then, and he had been in Toastmasters for quite a long time, and he was my source. So when I
Mm-hmm.
heard a lot of good things about Toastmasters from him, I sort of requested him to guide me to a club. So he pointed me to the club which was nearest to my house then, South Delhi Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it all started. And then 1 year later, basically, we had opened a club in RMS, my office. So that
Nice.
that was like a new channel. Yeah. So Toastmasters has been
Great.
there since then.
Yeah, I think because of Toastmaster, I got connected. I don't see a reason I would have connected to you. We were poles apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you talked about education sector and things. So if I have to ask you a very subtle question, like what would be the top two, three things that you will either ask the educationalists to do changes in terms of what we are
Okay.
happening, or also the young professional who are going to join the bandwagon of this corporate, they can do to basically upgrade their skills? What would those be?
See, actually, this is a very, very complex,
I know.
situation. Obviously, there's no simple answer to it. Um, but as we work with people, so what I what I suggest to people is, like we do in the corporate world, right? We should do a similar thing in the education sector. Like, for example, instead of rote learning, emphasize on rote learning. If we can do some bit of applications of the studies that
Right.
we are doing. I mean, that would automatically sort of generate some interest in the students. So this is one thing which I tell. Or I also suggest, if they can, if we can bridge some gaps between sort of industry and the academic world. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to all my friends and people in the education sector I meet. There are a lot of active discussions happening. Actually, I also want to say that there is a lot that is happening. So it's not that
Yep.
people are not trying to do anything. It's just that the problem is a little more severe and needs sort of contributions from all the sides. For example,
Right.
a lot of people in the industry don't feel are not able to help basically to this problem. Whereas
Mm.
I feel that they are the ones who can do the maximum help. So it's like I think if there was one tip I would give, I would say that we should as a society own this as a big need and work
Right.
together to improve the education sector. So it's not just a problem of the teachers or the school principals or, or the parents. It's actually everybody's problem.
Yeah.
Because
So true.
all the industry needs are met from the academic world, right? I mean, we tend to
Yeah.
people who after they've gone through the academic cycle. So obviously, it's everybody's. It's in everybody's interest if education, is made better and more effective for people to take charge of their lives.
Sure. I think you talked about that inclusive education system, which is the need of ours. So thank you so much for pointing that out. Uh, Before I move on to the next question, for people who have joined this live call, if you have any question, feel free to typing in the comment section so that when we come towards the closer, we'll be able to take one or two questions. So my next question is about the elephant in the room, as they say, about the corona. How has corona impacted your work and home in last a month or so? And what are you, more importantly, I would say, what are the steps you are taking to keep yourself positive, motivated, or inspired?
Oh, that's such a wonderful question, Haritosh. I mean, and I know this is one thing that the entire world is facing all at the same time.
Right.
So this is definitely a very very apt question. So interestingly, we were in the middle of a product release, the software product release when this all happened, and
Mm-hmm.
we all kind of. Just got into that mode of work from home with almost like on an immediate basis. So, initially, yeah, I mean, there obviously it impacts. It's not like you all are sitting, the entire team is sitting together in the office at one place. So, uh,
Right.
there are a lot of challenges. So, one, we need to understand that it is challenging because I know a few people who've been kind of disappointed, who've been feeling
Mm.
disappointed with respect to the challenges. So one, we have to understand the challenge is there. It's not
Right.
there are no problems, and that, in my opinion, would be the first step that we should all realize. And if we accept that there is a challenge, then we sort of are able to come to the point of how do I cope with the challenge or how do I sort of
Mm-hmm.
utilize the positive energy and how do I sort of do a workaround. So that is one. The other thing is all said and done. There are advantages in this as well, right? I mean, we used to face all sorts of challenges of the traffics
Right.
and traveling to office.
Pollution.
So yeah, I know the feeling that sort of maybe hits the most is like kind of a house arrest. But then, we should also look at the positive side of it. And as I said, for me, the first aspect itself helped me a lot. because I said, yeah, this is a challenge. And I spoke to you offline as well. So, I did not have an office, formal office setting. So I've been working in my living room on a couch all these days.
I know.
And so obviously, I mean, the thoughts that come to my mind is I wish I get a chance to do a full setup of an office-like setting, and that'll improve my productivity, and that'll also sort of contribute to the health, which otherwise, the posture itself poses a threat if we don't sit properly, or people in IT would understand, the long work hours is like a norm.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
can't take it for granted that we ignore like a schedule like thing, as you were saying. So that would be my next point. So treat it like a work day. Follow your
Right.
rituals. Get up. If you go for, like, if you do exercises, do that. Don't ignore the essentials from your day-to-day schedule. Yes, work is there, but follow all the rituals. One of the things that I feel happy about is to be able to help at home with certain things. So sometimes it helps, because I think if I miss one aspect in all throughout my professional journey, it has been like time with family. So that has been a gain, in my opinion. And as I said, I know all these things sound, it's like, it's easy to say, less to
Theoretical.
understand, but then, yeah, theoretical knowledge. But I'm telling you, what makes it
True.
easy for me is the fact that I'm able to accept that there's a challenge, and it's not an easy situation for all of us. And like all the challenges of the world, I'm sure this will also go off, and it'll leave us with a lot of learnings and changed personalities that are essential for surviving. So that's another source of positivity I carry.
Great. We do have a question from audience. Taiba asked that now, and I think it is related to what question I asked is now, how do you stay motivated in quarantine, and especially when you are away from your home? So a lot of people have the option to be at home, but it is very difficult, and this is happening with me also. So how do you cope up with the quarantine, and what are the things we can do? Maybe one or two tips on that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if I were sort of if I were like alone and away from family as well, I'm pretty sure the challenges would have increased. I mean, I can't imagine. So I don't think I'll be able to, like, give an answer from the perspective
Sure.
of
Yeah, and I
what we
can fill
can
in
do,
for that. I
because
think. Yep. Go ahead.
yeah, sure. I mean, but you see, again, the point is, I mean, my full, empathy with all of such people. I totally understand what it is like. It's just that, yes, I know. I mean, it feels depressing. You have nobody to talk to sometimes, and it's a different feeling to have family around versus on phone or video calls. So I won't say anything can replace it, but then I also have a belief that so this is linked to spirituality. So I'm connected to art of living, which has
Right.
given me a lot of knowledge. And a lot of traits related to courage and strength. And one thing which I've learned is, although we may think that we are planning our life, actually it is all being done by Him. And
Mm.
if I'm brought into a situation where I feel it's a big challenge and maybe slightly unfair, I almost every time I am able to convince myself that there must be some plan. It has to be
Mm.
something with the positivity. So if I were to be in that situation, Taiba, I mean, I would rather try to convince myself with that. And as I said earlier, I mean, there's no replacement. I can totally understand. It's not an easy situation to be in, but trust me, there must be some reason. That's my belief.
Yep. So believe in Almighty, and even if you're not a believer, believe that something good is gonna happen out of all this, and you learn. And for me, because I'm also in a place which is where I'm alone, I'm not with my family, and the way I'm trying to keep it up is having these sessions. But apart from that, I'm learning to
This is good.
discover. Yeah, I'm going back to trying to cooking. I'm not a cook, so I'm trying to explore cooking. I'm trying to go back to books. These are those fundamentals, and as you said, I think one of the things that I read a quote somewhere that no, if you cannot be at peace with when you are alone, you probably can't be at peace with the world. So first you have to be at peace with yourself, with the way you
Totally.
are, and when you learn to be enjoy your solace, not in these situations but in general situation, if you're able to enjoy your solitude solace, that's when you'll start enjoying the other things as well. So that's my two
Totally agree.
tidbits for Taiwa. Okay,
Beautiful.
my probably the last question, because I think we are about 20 minutes already over. Is
Oh, I'm
what,
sorry.
what yeah, time just flies when we are talking to each other, but yeah, we need to respect people's time.
Sure.
So, what are your plans for future? Any new things, any new initiative that you're gonna take, and any other things?
Uh, See, actually, as I said, initially that life, right, like from the beginning itself, has been like, luck by chance. And although I won't say there have been no challenges in my life, but
Right,
there's a very different feeling when you overcome those challenges, right?
right,
So, I would basically be very happy to take on these luck by chance challenges
mm-hmm.
moving further. I definitely, as I said, I have certain aspirations to help people, and even though I may not have been able to do a lot, but one thing that happened good as a result of having a passion is you start feeling that you should become better.
Right,
You should become more capable. You should become more. You should add more skills.
mm,
So, what I've realized is, with that expectation from your own self, you tend to take on things a little more smoothly rather than getting in that complaining mode.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, there are some skills that I intend to learn,
mm-hmm.
and I'm on the path. And beyond that, if anything else comes in, I'm actually
Yep,
looking forward to
new
see
challenges.
what
Yeah.
other experiments and challenges life is ready to throw me at.
Oh, great. So, yeah, keeping yourself open and embrace the challenges and opportunities. Thank you so much, Tarun, and it has been an honor and privilege to have you in this show. And no, I'm pretty sure that even after this, when I post the link on YouTube, people are gonna enjoy the conversation that we had and learn a lot of positivity with it. So, before I close this episode 3 of Instagram Inspiration, I would request all of you to help each other. This is not a normal time, this is an unprecedented time. So, and when I say help, it doesn't only, it not only involves money, it could also be when you reach out to people. Sometimes just talking to them for 5 minutes also helps them in terms of the mental wellness and others. And also, one more request is whenever you're preparing a chapati or something like that, prepare one extra for stray dogs or cats or animals, because nobody is talking about the animals. Everybody is concerned and valid concern for humans, but they are also dependent on humans. So if we can extend one small piece of chapati or anything, it would make a world more beautiful. Thank you so much, all, and I would hope to see you all again in my next session of Instagram Inspiration. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going out of your comfort zone. This is Haritosh. Take care. God bless you all.